children, bringing them to raise in the West, because those are the people who they will put in the leadership position over black folks, both here and in Haiti. They're hedging their bet on their future. They got black bodies with white souls and white value systems and white belief system, so that the whites won't have to push their system, because the black people will perpetuate that system for them. We are not the bodies we are in, we are what we believe. And so if you can put your belief and your values in another body that's healthy enough to live even when you're gone, then you live on, because that's who you are. You are those beliefs. You are that value. But this thing of stealing Haitian children had been going on. They're not only doing it in Haiti, they were doing it in the Philippines. You remember the Chad government 2 years ago stopped a plane load with hundreds of black children from Chad being smuggled out to France. This is going on all over the world. So it just became one of those things that was uncovered by this earthquake. And like you said, the earthquake could be man-made. They have the capability to cause an earthquake, but let's assume it's natural. It is a very destructive and a very terrible thing our people are going through. And we have to do everything we can to help them with the material needs and the reconstruction of a society along the lines that is appropriate for them. That's where the real question is going to come in. When the reconstruction of Haiti begins, what Haiti will be constructed? Will it be Haiti constructed, or America, France, and Canada constructed, in terms of the social construction, the political construction, the economic construction of the society? What we see going on in Haiti, I watch the television news, and every network is trying to look for something negative. Yet the dignity with which these people have handled themselves under the duress that they're under has been extraordinary. 7 days with barely no water, no food, but you're still trying to conduct yourself with dignity in order to receive this stuff. They're looking for riots, and they're looking for this. Any little group of kids. Now, if you've been 5 days without food and you find a store with some food in and you go and get it, why is that called rioting? But that's the kind of, the white Christian mindset is fundamentally anti-African. And it has never changed from the days of enslavement of Africans by them. They still are the same people. And so we have to wake up. And the only way to wake up is to turn back to the instructions of our ancestors and to begin to adapt and adopt to the ways of our ancestors, because our very DNA is programmed to those ways. And so when we assume another people's ways, we're actually in violation of our very DNA. We're causing conflict and confusion in our very DNA, because our DNA was constructed and formed by our ancient people, and the few hundred years it's been tampered with cannot equal the millions of years that it was constructed to be what it is.
Let me ask you a deeply spiritual question. African worldview is that the living, the dead, and the yet unborn all share the same space. The Haitian Revolution was brought about by some of the most committed, bravest souls. Now, it had already happened. A tragedy has happened. There are hundreds, maybe a couple 100,000 people, maybe more, we don't know, who have lost their lives, but they are transformed, because death is not what we believe death to be in the West. So what does that say to you? The living, the dead, the yet unborn all share the same space. What values can we draw in this time of tragedy to understand this process and what it can mean? Because these are the children of those who brought about.
Unless we return to the way of the ancestors, what was the ancestors doing when they were so victorious? Now, if you want to study a ball team that won the championship, you look to see what plays they were using and what strategies they were using at the time they won that championship. And if we want to understand how Haiti can restore itself and how the African world outside of Haiti can learn from that restoration, then we must go back and say, okay, what was it that the people were doing under the leadership of Boukman, Dessalines, Toussaint, Defilé, and Christophe that allowed them to be so successful? And when they stopped doing that, they lost their success edge. The degree to which we moved away from voodoo is the degree to which we have suffered over the last few hundred years in Haiti. The degree to which we abandon the way of our mothers and fathers who were victorious against the most evil military force on the planet. The degree to which we backed away from the tools and the belief they used that brought them that victory is the degree to which we have sunk back into the oppression that they fought against. Dessalines said when the victory was won that he did not want the smell of the stench of the French language in Haiti. What is the French language doing there? He did not want the Catholic Church in Haiti. What is it doing there? Because we turned away from the victors, from our victorious ancestors, and we went back to the way of the enslavers of our ancestors. And so the consequences of abandoning your primal essence to return to the way of the essence of those who practice genocide against you, then puts you in position to be in partnership with your own genocide. That's not just true for Haiti. That's true here in North America, and that's true on the continent of Africa. And until we abandon the way and the practices of our oppressors and those who practice genocide against us, and return to the way of our ancestors, those who love and wanted to preserve us, we will be victims of our own genocide that we carry out using the belief system, the practices, and the way of life of our enemies and the enemies of our ancestors. That's the simplest way to put it, because it ain't really nothing complicated about this. You know, there's a fear. Fear has been used to make our people walk away from themselves. Malcolm X said the secret to life is to have no fear. Because every human body we know will recycle back in nature, just as it came out of nature. But every human body that we know, when they have deposited their seed in their children and their grandchildren, is eternal. Okay? And even those who you didn't deposit into biologically, if you deposit your seed into them intellectually, spiritually, and culturally, you are still eternal. Okay? I think, I'll take one more question.
Well,
because I got things, I gotta go.
Professor Small, I think it is so important that we look at the connection between ancient Kemet, Egypt, as it has come down and it is expressed very well in the Haitian culture. And that's what I wanted to focus a little more on. Can you?
Yeah, well, I'm not that big to make. Egypt is not our genesis. Egypt itself is a child of Africa. Egypt is not our genesis. It is just one of those places, because of the ecology where so much have been preserved, because of the dryness of the desert, because of the access to stone to build, we preserve so much of the works our ancestors did. And remember, the work to build a building, it isn't the building that is important. It is the principle upon which the building was constructed. It is the science and knowledge used to construct that edifice. That same science that you use to construct the edifice is the same science you use to construct the human character. And so Egypt becomes a very good example. But there's a book coming out in 2 months called Black Genesis. It's based on the study of a place called Naptoplio, which is in the south west corner of Egypt, where there's an archaeological find in caves, paintings of African